Hold on. Let's start again.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
I didn't turn the recording box on. So let me start that again. All right.
Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
July 31st. All right. This is the week that we always talk about. This is like the week where it gets so unbelievably slow because there is still some like aftershock from NHL free agency, some fumes that trickle in, and we're going to get to some of those today.
We're now at the part where, okay, there was all the crazy action, and then there's all the teams who you're basically sitting in the actions of the first 2 or 3 weeks of July. You know what I mean? You're sitting in the hum of it. Mm-hmm. The Leafs basically have their team. Yeah, I know what I said, Jesse.
What are you trying to say?
Sitting in the hum.
Yeah, and then but all the teams who are screwed, now it's setting in with fans.
They're in the lurch.
Okay, because this is the time of year where you're like, I can watch some hockey highlights, and you start looking forward to next season. And if your team sucks,
I think this is the time of the year where you watch some hockey highlights.
For the rest of us,
all of Austin Matthews goals for Switzerland.
I watched an 8-minute highlight pack of a Leafs-Jets game from not this past season, but the one before it.
Leafs
why did
won.
you do that?
It was great.
And
Ask me if I regret it. Nope.
And how was
You
Matt
won't
Hunwick
watch
skating?
Game of Thrones.
I didn't see Matt Hunwick.
Yeah, we'll watch Game of Thrones.
Man, that's crazy, though. Man, I could watch, shut up. I could watch like 10 highlight packs in one Game of Thrones episode.
Imagine if you took this time during the summer when there's no hockey and nothing interesting happening and watched something like Game of Thrones.
Imagine if I took something different in school, and then maybe I'd be a biologist or something. But I didn't do that. I friggin' played NHL video games and yell at a camera,
Here's
Jesse.
the thing.
It's what I do with my life.
When Turn Down for What was a big song, it hadn't even made the radio yet, but Steve knew Turn Down for What was a big song because he was making it in every Vine at the time or whatever. That's how old Turn Down for What is.
It was a great video.
It was
a viral video.
Your video where you twerked on camera to Turn Down for What?
Oh.
I remember vividly seeing your ass on the screen.
I hurt myself doing that. People don't realize how often I hurt myself in those videos.
I don't think people would be surprised by that.
No, that's fair.
But the point I'm trying to make is you're normally great with taking pop culture and then using it as references.
Yeah.
So like when you were reading Harry Potter, you heard a lot of Harry Potter references. Game of Thrones has so many amazing things that you could cross over with, and yet you refuse. You refuse to watch it. You could infuse 7 years of content.
Fine.
If Steve waits 2 years and doesn't watch it,
watch
he'll be okay.
He'll watch it all. He'll miss it.
No, he'll miss it. And then if you tried to make a Game of Thrones reference in 2.5 years from now, it's like an old reference. You don't need to make it.
Be like, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And then people will be quiet. Shut up, nerd!
You can miss the whole Game of Thrones.
You've actually already missed that one. That's gone. You know nothing, Jon Snow is over.
Jesse's mind katana bullshit that he just pulled. Now I'm going to go home and watch Game of Thrones.
I disagree because Jesse makes Seinfeld references all the time. And that show's been over for like 20 years.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about the time where you had to make a Seinfeld reference in a Tinder thing when I was shoulder tendering for you. Remember that? They do have their own schools. You don't remember that?
No.
We were at Loose Moose.
This is a terrible conversation because I don't remember what you're referring to.
It's great.
So I can't comment on it.
Cool. You know what was really cool was the 20-second moment of silence that we had before that too.
Yeah,
what a great show.
Maybe you should have gone with the thing that Adam was saying.
I know. I should have.
Relevant to the conversation.
That's okay.
Listen, man. Rusty.
So, Steve,
This is what I chose to do with my life.
Steve, how is the NHL 19 beta?
Okay, so Jesse friggin' thinks I want to talk about the NHL 19 beta, and Jesse thinks that's irrelevant, and no one who listens to our fuck the light, leave the light. He thinks that people who listen to our NHL podcast won't care about that video game.
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said, make me care about the NHL 19 beta. Last week,
semantics, man.
Last week, I went to the beach. I've been to the beach like 5 times already this summer.
That's great.
You know what I'd rather be doing than playing NHL 19? Enjoying the outside and going to the beach.
You didn't let me guess, but that was going to be my answer.
Crazy that you would say that.
Yeah, well, I haven't done a sit-up since March, so I'm not doing that.
Hey, Jesse, you know what I did last week.
Yes.
I went to a TFC game on Wednesday night.
Wow.
Thursday night, hung out with my friend Rob in the Ossington area. Friday night, I forget what I did. Oh, I went for beers with JD Bunkus and Ben Ennis. They were like, hey, we're going to the Belcher. We know you live in the area.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for that.
And then, boy, you were going to come all the way down from Oshawa, for sure.
To hang
I
out
had to come down my elevator.
To hang out with my friends, Bunkus and Bennis, and their accomplice Adam Wild.
And
Is
then
Bennis a thing they do?
Bennis.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Bennis.
Well, Bennis is just Ben. Ben Ennis. Yeah, Bennis. Yeah.
But Bennis.
Isn't that
Bunkus and Bennis. That show should be called Bunkus and Bennis.
No, it's a good show.
In the morning, even though it's in the afternoon.
And then
call
Godot.
And then
I'll call Mr. Gift.
Oh my God.
Dave Godot, program director, Fan 590. No.
French!
And Saturday,
It's off the rails.
Saturday night, I went to a party. So I was drinking 4 days in a row, which I have not done since.
Adam's just
It
bragging.
was crazy. And
just show it off.
I went to a party that featured Jesse Blake as a DJ, and he had a bottle of vodka on the table because he's sponsored by Absolute Vodka, right? Don't you know
Shout
that?
out Absolute.
And I drank it, most of it. Yeah,
me
you
that
didn't
check.
even really get to touch it. I drank most of his
Well,
vodka.
you're not supposed to touch. It's for display.
Ah.
This man grabs the display and chugs it to his face. Unbelievable.
You chugged vodka out of the bottle.
the vodka?
Like it was
vodka.
out of the
You chugged vodka out of the Michael vodka.
I don't think I did.
absolute vodka.
It'll get you drunk.
It'll get you.
I don't think I did that.
Sorry.
I didn't chug it.
Adam drank it like water.
No,
straight to
I
his
don't
face.
think I did, but because I can't do shots, so there's definitely no way I can chug.
No,
but
I think I saw some things.
I'm too much of a wimp for that. There's no way. There's no way.
You
But
drank
anyway,
vodka out of the bottle, you common scum.
I don't think I did though. I mean, maybe I did. I can't
I
remember
can
the
make
rest of the
things
night.
up.
Okay, Adam was drunk texting my wife that night.
Yeah, talking about TFC, but
Original conversation.
NHL
We're
19
just going to
beta.
gloss over drug texting my wife? All right,
NHL 19 beta.
fine. Yeah. So you
Make Jesse care.
I have to make you care about that.
Make us all of us care.
The
This is what we're doing.
implication is it's irrelevant, and it's not at all.
No, the implication is why should I worry about it now?
Yes.
When in 4 weeks it will still be.
It came out now. It exists in the world.
Where is
now.
it going?
Like, this isn't a slight at Sean Ramjagsingh. This is not. No, that's not him.
No.
We love him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But it's July 31st, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Jesse went to the beach. I went to a party featuring Jesse.
It's about to be 30 degrees this weekend. It's a long weekend.
It is a long
Where
weekend.
is this NHL 19 beta going that I can't care about it in, what is it, September when the game comes out?
Which is only 4 weeks away.
That's very true.
Back to school supplies already in stores.
So why can't I
That
just
makes me so
care
angry.
about NHL 19 when it comes out and not spend my summer months playing a video game that's not even out yet? That's in a beta mode that it's not even done. So and you're telling me to care about this unfinished product that's shoddy.
They have a fun new mode that I'm going to smoke you in, by the way, called
'cause-
Ones. First of all,
We all know who's
Ones?
in this NHL. Yes.
Ones?
Ones, bro?
Ones, where it's a 1v1v1, a 3-man free-for-all,
It's
half the
shitty.
rink. Yeah, it's shitty.
Yeah, you're playing shitty. That's
And it's fun.
yeah.
And it's 3 minutes long, so if you get trapped in there with a lunatic like you do in EASHL,
Yeah.
it's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
It's a fun mini game that, you know what? Hey, I got 5 minutes to spare right now. I'm going to play this, and then I'll go back to my summer.
I don't, Steve. Did you really spend 5 minutes?
Listen, you can spend 5
Everybody
minutes
raise
to 3
your hand
hours
if you
playing
believe
this
that.
game. Listen,
Oh,
No. Go ahead.
I didn't even hear what you said.
No.
I said
ra-
raise your hand if you believe it, and neither of us did. So you spent
5 minutes, I'm sure.
you spent 5 minutes playing this mode.
I'm saying I could. The option's there. Listen, me playing it from 11 till 2 in the morning is my business.
You know, Jesse.
I'm a grown man.
Is that's the big thing about the beta? Is that the only thing in the beta? Can you actually play 5-on-5 in the beta?
I think you can, but I've just been playing Ones because it's so fun.
And it's actually fun.
It's very fun.
Now,
that.
I heard you get to customize your character with all sorts of jackets and snow
Jackets
pants.
and all sorts of Fortnite. My
Smart. It's
my
very
friend
Fortnite.
came over. It's very Fortnite. It's basically Fortnite hockey.
Which is great.
That's
Let me
cool.
customize my guy and put all kinds of goofy shit on.
Are there dances?
There should be.
There
There's lots of
absolutely
goal
should be.
celebrations. I unlocked a trombone. You can play a trombone when you score a goal.
That
It's
sounds-
very
That's
arrogant.
very Fortnite.
That's what she said.
Yes. We're
Is it?
okay, sure.
Did we let that one pass? I don't know. Okay, so it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is
And
it
that's
July
all I had to
31st?
say about it. It's July 31st snippet, for frig's sakes, guys. I'm just trying to have conversation with my friends.
I have trouble.
Have you
caring
tried this
about-
thing I find neat? And they all said, "Get lost, nerd." No one cares, Steven.
You know
Piece of
nothing, Jon Snow, is what you just did.
A relevant reference made by us, big fans of the show Game of Thrones.
Oh, you and your Lord of the Rings.
Hey, Game of Thrones, everybody's dying. Right?
Yeah.
Right? What's the deal?
That's Xerxes.
I've seen the episode.
Anybody gonna get her some dragons?
Xerxes, like the Persian
No,
emperor
Cersei.
from...
You got Cersei and Xerxes
No,
mixed up.
I think I said the right thing. And that's all that
I don't
matters.
think you did, but if we rewound the
Xerxes.
tape.
I said the right thing. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's
That.
This is off the
With
rails.
Jesse Blake. People
okay.
were asking for an audiobook for my book, but it's just you just shooting down things that I say.
So like commentary.
I would love to do that. I would do that in my head while I
And then
read.
Jesse comes in. I disagree.
Let's talk about it.
Are you sure?
Talk about it. This man said in a book that he's Steve. And I'm skeptical.
Make me care.
Make me care.
First paragraph. Make me care.
First argument I would make, your name is Steven.
Whoa.
He just told me what my name is.
Well, there you go, man.
All right.
Hey.
The balls. Yes. Hey.
Hey. Jarome Iginla.
Special in-studio guest Trevor Linden coming on in a minute.
No.
Can you imagine? That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. But he hasn't done an interview. Why did you do that? I don't know why you did that.
I just thought it'd be funny. I thought it'd be funny. Tell me I'm wrong.
Jarome Iginla.
What about him? What about that beautiful man?
1,554 games.
So many games.
625 goals.
Great amount of goals.
675 assists.
Boy, that's a lot of assists.
Easy math to do. That's 1,300 points, kids.
Quick maths. Yes.
Retired.
Retired.
Now,
Makes me
oh,
sad.
let's not forget the 81 games in the playoffs where he had 68 points. That's pretty impressive.
And 37 goals. So, like, he had a 37 goal season in the playoffs. That's bananas.
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas. He's so good.
So you made a video about this.
Yes.
But let's talk about what Jarome Iginla meant to you.
Like, he was my favorite player in an era where
A what?
Thank you. Where the Leafs were bad. Like, people talk about kind of 2005 to, I don't know, 2 years ago. Like, it was the only time the Leafs were bad. No, in the late 90s, 99 excluded, they were horrible.
Well, late 90s, they were good. 98, 99? That was
98,
Cujo.
99, but like, what's
97?
Didn't they miss the playoffs like 3 straight years?
Twice. They'd never missed the
it's two.
playoffs more than 2 years in a row until after the lockout.
So, right around then is when I started, like, I was just Leafs as a kid.
Sure.
Right? But then I started expanding more. And that was actually, there was like a really good 5-year stretch of just superstars coming into the league.
Yeah, it was pretty
Thornton.
amazing.
Kovalchuk was a little bit later. LeCavalier, ironically, and Jarome Iginla. And I got his hockey card. It was him playing table tennis with someone. And what I said in the video, I think is very true, is, you know, when you think of the Russian brand of hockey, it's easy to picture a guy like Pavel Datsyuk for his stick handling. It's easy to picture a guy like Pavel Bure for his speed. That's the Russian brand of hockey, Swedish hockey. It's very tactical. You think of all their amazing defensemen that they have and how they control the play from the back. And then they got skill and finesse too, obviously. The Finnish brand of hockey has developed a lot in recent years. It's just tenacity. They're awful to deal with. And they won't always have the most skilled team out there, and it never matters. Like, Patrick Laine's an alien, but like, I think of, like, there's a lot of Leo Komarovs, more skilled Leo Komarovs. They're just a very tenacious bunch. What is the Canadian brand of hockey? I don't know. Like, today, maybe it's different.
It is different
because
now.
of McDavid and like Sagan and McKinnon and Taylor
But
Hall.
it was the tough
Sidney
guys.
Crosby is a little bit different.
Tough guys score a lot of goals, throw a lot of hits.
Yes, I think of the 2002 Olympic team. And whatever Canadian hockey is supposed to be, whatever Don Cherry's interpretation of Canadian hockey is supposed to be, I think it's the way Jarome Iginla played. He'll score goals with just literally bombs off the rush.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he did. He came in, wrist shot, came in, slap shot. When was the last time you saw a winger come in on the rush and just bomb it and it was successful? They don't do that.
They don't know.
anymore.
It's not part well, unless you're Phil Kessel, but he doesn't bomb it. It's like a snap.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And then when the game got older and later in Iginla's career, he was finesse, crazy hand still. He hit and
He fought a guy in the finals.
a fighter. He fought another captain. It was a captain versus captain fight in the Stanley Cup final. Mind-blowing. And another thing I said is that fight is not my most memorable Iginla fight. Is Iginla versus Bill Guerin. And you got to watch it. It was a typical hockey fight. They're kind of connected at the sweaters, kind of grabbing at the collars. They get separated, and Iginla just hits him with a loose left right in the jaw. Guerin's doesn't know where he is. Iginla jerseys him, feeding him lunch, and then when he can't get to his face because I guess Guerin covered up, he throws. I think he switches to his right. He throws a huge hook, hits him in the hockey pants, no effect. Another huge hook, hits him in the hockey pants, no effect. And then he catches him right between the hockey pants and the ribs. Ooh. Just nothing but meat. And Guerin just right down to one knee. Finished. And you can just, his hands look scary. And I got the chance to shake those hands.
Were they big hands?
Dude,
Pause.
Sewer covers. I call them kitchen counters. Those kitchen counters that he calls hands. And he was just the face of the Canadian brand of hockey. Does that make sense?
100%.
Not the face of Canadian hockey, but the face of whatever Canadian
He had over
hockey is supposed to
1,000
be.
penalty minutes. And 1,300 points.
You know what's amazing, though? If you look at his penalty minutes, that was another thing that stood out to me looking at his stats. I'm trying to remember exactly. He only had 50-plus penalty minutes a handful of times.
Yeah, it was mostly 4, but when he was at his peak, it would be 80, 03, 04, 84, the next season 86, the next season 40, the next season 83, the next season 37.
8 times he had over 50 penalty minutes.
So I mean, that's...
And a couple times
it's
he had
enough.
47, yeah. Yeah, quite a bit.
But for the amount he played, for the amount he hit, for the amount he ended up having to fight, not a ton. He didn't take many penalties. He was just an extremely good hockey player, an extremely well-rounded hockey player. And it's kind of amazing. He was only in the Hart conversation, I guess, once. And he got jobbed, by the way. Jobbed! And if you don't know that story, you should look it up. How Jarome Iginla is the 2002 Hart winner.
Who won it?
Jose Theodore. Now, there was a great argument for, and it's actually kind of ironic. There's a great argument for both. Theodore played, it was 55 games, had a .931 save percentage, dragged a very mediocre Montreal team to the playoffs.
That's when he dated Paris Hilton. That summer. That happened.
I forgot about that. Iginla, the Flames didn't make the playoffs, but he's clearly the best player in the league. A lot of you are screaming right now. I know. We'll get to it. But he led the league in goal scoring by I think it was 11 goals.
Is this the 52 goal, 96 point?
Yeah. He led by 11 goals, 6 points. Clearly the best player in the league. And the difference, it was an extremely tight Hart vote. The difference was one guy allegedly from Quebec, but they don't name the guy. He's allegedly from Quebec. Put Theodore number 1 and left Iginla off the ballot. You could argue Theodore ahead of him. You could maybe even find a way to argue that Iginla should have been, third, fourth, even possibly. To leave him off the ballot is a disgrace. And it's why he lost the thing.
And of course, they won't name the guy because the guy was very clearly wanting Theodore to win it.
Yeah, and it changed how they vote about the thing. Now,
I bet if you're inducted in the PWHA, I bet you get to find out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I could send a couple texts tonight and find out who it was. But it's funny because we all accept, I mean, probably outside of Quebec, that Iginla was jobbed that year, and he should have won it, and he was clearly the best player in the league, and it doesn't matter that the Flames didn't make the playoffs. He should have won the Hart Trophy. And then I think about McDavid this year, and I go,
So they tied in points, Theodore and Iginla. So if Iginla was just on one more ballot, he would have had more points.
If that guy had put him fifth,
anywhere,
he wins the Hart Trophy.
Because he would have just gained another point in the voting system, and that would have broken the tie. But since they were tied, Theodore had more first-place votes, and that's what gave him the trophy.
Now, in fairness, then Iginla would have won with fewer first-place votes, I guess. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And the one, I would say, maybe the one player who is going to enter the Hall of Fame having not won a cup, where no one makes the argument, can never win. Have you ever heard anyone say that about Jarome Iginla?
No, and I'm looking
because it's stupid.
I'm looking at the playoffs that he went to. He only went to the playoffs 5 seasons with Calgary. There was that magical run in 03-04 where they...
He only won like half a dozen playoff rounds in his career?
Yeah, half a dozen? You'd be lucky. Yeah, maybe 6. Yeah, maybe 6.
There was 3 the year they went to the final.
And then the next 4 years they went to the playoffs, but they never made it past the first round. And then 2013, 2014, which is
he was on the wrong Pittsburgh team.
He was on the wrong Pittsburgh team. He scored 12 points in the playoffs.
He could have gone to Boston or Pittsburgh. At the last minute, he said no to Boston, and then he loses to Boston in the conference.
And then the next year he went to Boston and lost to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, next year he plays in Boston.
No, I knew he played in Boston.
It's
I didn't
the
know
Marian
they lost to
Hossa
Pittsburgh. Hey, except he never got his... he thought his Blackhawks was going to be the Colorado Avalanche, and he bought high. He bought extremely high. He scored 30 goals in Boston, though. I saw someone today. I'm trying to remember who it was.
2 more seasons of, one almost 30-goal season with Colorado the next year. And I don't know if that was when they were PDO good.
Oh, no. He never got a chance to play for the third-place Avalanche.
That was the year before.
He was a free agent. He had a chance to sign anywhere to potentially win a cup. Yeah. And he looked at the young Avalanche team,
Nathan
who finished
McKinnon.
third in the league, and he goes, okay, I'm going to sign 3 years here. This is going to be my Hossa moment. And I don't think I think that was his last time in the playoffs.
They were coached by Jack Adams Award winner, Patrick Waugh.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He won.
That would have been weird.
By the way, Patrick Waugh.
They went to the Olympics together.
Patrick Waugh won that award when he slammed the glass out of the boards on the first game of the season.
His first game.
End of the game,
ever.
First game of the season.
Yeah.
First game ever. That's when he won that award.
But
Semyon Varlamov won him that award. Let's just be honest.
But they were one of the best teams in the league, and they lost in the first round. So
to Minnesota.
And that was actually the year that we had Steve Simmons on, and we were arguing for advanced stats. And Steve Simmons said, well, look at the Colorado Avalanche. And we're like, yeah, but next season.
Yeah, but wait.
And that hadn't happened yet. And they finished like in the basement.
That was the great
They dug the basement down. They were so bad.
Yeah.
With Iginla.
With 29 goals.
The next year.
The next year. That was
29 goal
Iginla the next year.
So he made 3 bad choices in a row because he's the Penguins, Bruins, and then the Avs.
For 3 years.
Damn.
Hey, dog.
Poor Iggy. Well, and also, I don't think the attraction was just that. So when I was with Nike, people talk about the Nike athletes, and all anyone ever said about him was he's an extremely nice human being. Mm-hmm. But in the summer, that phone, if he even has one, goes off.
Nice.
And he just goes into the mountains, likes the wilderness, whatever. And his goodbye speech was so corny and so dad-like with all his kids. And it's deliciously him. It's perfectly him. And he's excited, I think, to be a full-time dad. Sofia Jurcevic was asking him questions, and I happened to be there. And Yager was in the middle of a 60-plus point season, I think, with Florida. And they're like, hey, so are you going to be the next Yager? He's 44 or whatever he was at the time, and you're 37. And Iginla's like, he doesn't have kids. I have kids. And, you kind of knew the clock was winding down for him. It sucks he went out the way he did, a year off.
So I want to tell one story. Sure. I want to tell one story before we get to that.
Sure.
This is from Eric the Hatchick, and I'm not going to lift the whole thing because obviously The Athletic is a subscriber thing that we want.
He writes for the Athletic.
We should just read Athletic.
We should have a podcast. Audiobook.
What are you going to do about it? Hey, everyone who doesn't want to pay $2, right here. We probably made a killing.
Athletic book.
Man, I got in early with the Athletic, so I pay almost nothing for it, and it was a great investment, man. It's the best. But okay, so
It's the second best behind Sportsnet.
well, yeah,
Actually.
obviously. Craig Conroy was talking to Eric Tahachik. He's now the Flames general manager. And he talks about this story in this article, and there are several stories that you should read. It's really great. And you know what's awesome is that I always love you never get the fucking on-bench experience. What's it like when you're sitting on the bench and your coach fucking hates you and you hate him back? What's it like between Matthews and Babcock when they were at their worst last year, which wasn't even probably this bad?
Roenick and Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Love to be a fly on the wall for
Steve and the imaginary players in NHL 8.
Yeah. Everybody, Steve and everybody else when Steve doesn't win.
That's why. Just a little aside. I've been like, oh man, me twitching NHL is going to be so good. And then I pay attention to myself and I'm like, oh, it's just going to be me silently every now and then just going, fuck off. It's just, yeah, way to go, idiot. Yeah, was that hit worth it? You know how many people I swear at? It's amazing. It's one-on-one in ones. But if the other guy blows the defensive assignment, I'm like, oh, you idiot.
Have you ever considered that maybe...
I have range problems!
No.
Maybe!
That maybe when you're playing online with your name, Steve Dangle, a lot of people know who you are. And there could be like kids or people who look up to you
I don't have
on
the
other
headset in
end.
when I say these things.
Okay.
So here's what else is interesting. Fortnite has started, and I know this because I play it all the time, has started covering the usernames of streamers. So, because what people would do is they'd wait for someone like Ninja to come on, and then they'd go after him and try to get into his game and shoot him. And so basically what'll happen is sometimes you'll shoot a guy and it's streamer 114523. And you're like, somebody is streaming right now. This is someone who's probably semi-famous on YouTube and has some sort of following. And I wonder if they're going to have to start doing that in the NHL games, because when we jumped on last year, there was those three guys came in and just smoked us. Murdered us. So if you start streaming regularly, I think you're going to have to talk to Rammer and be like, man, can you hide my name?
Hide me. I'm far too famous. No, I'm not going to do that.
But
unless I do.
And I think NHL ones is perfect for you because you'll never have to pass.
It's great. No. So this is the stupid thing. We'll get back to Iginla in a minute. So, okay, if it's tied, you get to go to overtime.
Yes.
All of you. So if someone has 2 goals, someone has 1, and one of you has 0. If the guy with 1 ties it up, all 3 of you get to go to overtime, and it's first to 3. So I was in a game where someone tied it up at 2s, and I only had 1, and I came back and won it because it was first to 3. Friggin' the guy with 0 goals and I'm 1 behind has the puck with like 5 seconds left. I'm like, pass it to me. You get another shot if I score, you idiot.
Because then we all go to overtime.
Yeah, or like
so you can work together.
Or like the guy with no goals, I'm coming in to tie it. He hits me. I lose the puck. I'm like, great, now the game's over, you friggin' moron. I could have saved the both of us, but you had to get your hit with 5 seconds left and you have no goals.
Have you ever considered?
You stooge. What the hell is the matter with you?
Have you ever considered?
What?
That maybe some people just don't care about it as much as you.
Why are they playing?
And they play.
You play to win the game. Hello, Jesse. Hello.
On one hand, like to play games for fun sometimes. And if...
You know what's fun? Winning! Winning! It's one of my favorite things to do!
And if I knew someone
That's my
cared...
going to the beach!
If I knew someone cared this much about winning, I might just sabotage because that's more fun than actually winning.
I think we found it. I think we found it.
I think we did too.
Anyways.
Okay. So getting back to Jarome Iginla, this is Craig Conroy talking about Jarome Iginla on the bench with
hot right now
with Daryl Sutter. Daryl Sutter, the grumpiest coach in the NHL. It sounded like every comment he made sounded like a burp.
And here, right now, is a conversation between Paul Maurice. What'd you think of the game? Oh, I thought it was pretty good. I'm really glad my team won. I'm glad your team won also. But I would have preferred if my team won.
If you got that much out of them. Okay, so it happened. This is during when the Flames played in Montreal in the 2002-03 season, back when Sutter was their coach.
This is the year after Theodore jobbed Iginla.
The Flames were going through a bad patch, and so Sutter called for a meeting with the team's leadership. A handful of guys, Stefan Yell, Chris Drury, Craig Berube, and Rob Niedermeyer, all received passing grades from Sutter.
Jeez, you just took me back in time.
Two others, Iginla and Conroy, didn't. He really killed Jarome and I in that meeting. It's kind of like you can have a bad meeting, a really bad meeting, and then this one was worse than that. This was awful. So obviously, being competitive, you want to prove Daryl 100% wrong. So the next day, first shift against Montreal, we go out there and get scored on, and now we're skating back to the bench, and Jarome says, that didn't start well. I'm like, you think? Daryl's standing there, making that face, arms crossed, not happy, but he didn't say anything at that time. Next shift, I was coming down to the net in a good position, but out of nowhere, Saku Koivu jumped in between us and picks off the pass, goes in, scores. Now it's 2-0, and it's only 6 minutes into the game.
And they're -2?
Yeah, those two. And they were dynamite together.
They were unreal.
This time we go back to the bench and Daryl starts in on us. Ooh, it's scary out there in big bad Montreal. Look at all these banners. This is Daryl taunting them. You can just imagine Daryl just giving it to us.
No, I can't.
I know, right? This is what's so crazy about this story. He's like, we were sitting there in the middle of the bench and Daryl says, hey, if you're going to be sitting there for the rest of the game anyway, you may as well do some work. Connie, you go down to the D and work the door for them. Jarome, you can do that for the forward box. He said, you guys clearly need a break tonight because it's just too scary for you guys. And he apparently sat there the whole rest of the night. They were just stapled to the bench. Wow. So that's just one story. How great is that story? But
imagine doing that to Jarome Iginla.
50-goal scorer, Jarome Iginla.
I am so tempted to say that's just a really, really bad coach. But also, it's a nothing game in October, and you have sucked out of the gate, so I guess you're making a statement.
Mm-hmm. This was the year before they went to the finals.
Right, exactly. So who am I to say?
They didn't make the playoffs that year, though.
I guess it worked.
So interesting.
And not Mika Kiprusoff was incredible.
I thought it was a great story. Now,
remember when Roman Turek was their starter? Sorry.
Yeah, he was actually not bad.
Yeah, until he was bad, and then Mika Kiprusoff took over.
So this is going to be an unpopular opinion.
Jarome Iginla, actually bad.
I wanted to bring up.
Oh.
There are two types of retirements in the NHL.
Not where I thought he was going.
Two types of retirement in pro sports, you could say. There's the athlete that retires, and then there's the athlete that has retirement handed to them.
Oh. Really, Adam?
I mean,
really? There's no way. I'll let you go there. But there's no way you're going there.
What I'm going to ask and throw out there to the room.
That's what you're going to say with a question.
Is Jarome Iginla an athlete that retired? Or did he have retirement handed to him?
Jesse? Sounds like you want to take this one.
Go ahead, Steven.
No! Listen.
You yourself said, oh, it's a shame he took that year out. The year. He had the year, the year.
Time the Toolman Taylor is undefeated.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And Iginla said during his press conference, his hip just one day was like, by the way, I'm shitty now. And he didn't even know. He's like, no pre-existing issues. It was just bad. And he tried to play through it. And it just stopped working.
Was he going to go to the Olympics? Was he going to sign with LA during for the playoff run?
He was injured. So this wasn't a player whose skills diminished with time necessarily. It was injuries who took him out.
And again, I asked the question, did he retire or did he have retirement handed to him?
Doesn't almost every player have retirement handed to them? Is this like a badge of dishonor that he should be wearing? That he retired in his late 30s? Gretzky, did he have retirement handed to him? Scored 9 goals in his final year.
But 67 points or something.
If there
72,
was,
I think.
If there was a contract for Jarome Iginla in the 17-18 season, I think he would have signed it.
Jesse,
But there was none.
the Calgary
Adam's
Flames,
point-
the Calgary Flames, Brian Burke said on Sportsnet to Faisal Kamisa that the Calgary Flames considered signing Iginla before they signed Jaromir Jagr.
I also have Twitter, but
And Jagr was a mistake. Look at how well it worked. It was a mistake.
if
Is it his fault that a team was not smart enough? Give it a shot.
I think you're proving my point
Am I?
in that.
Of course you think it. Of course you think that.
In that,
You ever argue with yourself in the mirror for fun?
You've made an entire YouTube channel out of it.
Yes, I have.
sounds like a great business plan.
All right.
It's worked, man.
Where's your hat?
I think that says a lot that the Flames, the team he's been with his whole career, the one that Jarome is associated with,
And
made
could
the
have
playoffs
really used
last
some
year.
leadership.
could have really used him.
Yeah, I made the playoffs last year.
They could have
Did
got
it?
Dougie
Yeah.
Hamilton
Yeah.
out to Moxie.
And they
just traded Dougie Hamilton. Let's talk about how smart the Flames are. Let's go.
they
Let's talk about how smart they are.
they didn't even hand him a contract. So that says to me, no team offered him it. There was nowhere for him to play in the National Hockey League, so he kind of just had to retire. To Adam's point.
Yeah, to Adam's unfair point.
No, but it's not
it unfair or is
factually
it true?
incorrect.
No, Adam is using it disparagingly, though.
No, but it's not incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
There you
but
go.
the tone, the stank that he is putting on his point is wrong. It's wrong.
The game passed by Jarome, and that's
The game passed by Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Except it didn't, because he was playing into his 50s.
Yeah, but then why didn't he play into his 60s?
Well, because he said finally, okay, I've had enough.
He said it.
That's why.
He said, I believe in his press conference when he left, he said, I've never quit anything, and this is really hard for
So
me.
then keep playing. If you've never quit anything, just keep going.
I think you're missing the point.
No.
I think
So here's the difference.
disparage
some
everybody
people
now.
choose retirement and some people have to retire
Some
because
people-
they can't play anymore.
Some people are Brett Favre should have retired.
Yeah.
And some people are Brett Favre, I'm going to play 3 more years for 3 different teams. Some people
Brett
are...
Favre is bad. That's what I'm getting from this.
Some people are what
Is
happened.
and always was bad. That's what I'm getting from this. Martin Brodeur, piece of crap.
Well, I mean, is that not a perfect example?
He chose retirement.
some
That
athletes,
is
he didn't
so
choose retirement.
much different.
Retirement
than
chose
what
Mark.
Iginla did.
He could still. He was on a team when he retired.
He was on a team, but he sucked.
No, but that proves the point. Iginla didn't even get that. Iginla didn't get that.
Finished the season on a bad team.
No, but
and
then he was still a guy who you could sign. Martin Brodeur was a guy you can sign, and someone said, "We still want you. You don't have to retire. There's a job for you
There's
here
4
to
games
play
in St. Louis waiting for you.
to play on the ice." And Jarome Iginla didn't even get that chance because he sucks. Because he's terrible.
wow.
I'm joking. I went too far. Yeah.
We're really just trying to
Yeah, you did.
We're
I
really
want to fight you. I want to fight my ex-friend right now. You don't insult Jarome Iginla in front of me.
Okay.
You don't do that. How dare you?
At 41,
How actually dare you?
At 41, is Jarome Iginla not a bad hockey player?
Is he
To
41?
NHL standards.
Is he 41?
He's 41.
I'm
Wow,
pretty sure
that's
he's
impressive.
not.
Yes, he is. 1977.
At 41, is he not a
I
bad?
disagree with Hockey DB.
Is he not a bad
Wow,
NHL
Jesse,
player?
you're right. This is easy.
Is he not?
I just disagree.
Is he not a bad NHL player at 41?
Probably. What did he get in his last
Probably.
year? No, but why is that bad? Why is that bad? Don't act like there isn't a stench to the point he was trying to make. He scored 14 goals and 13 assists in his final season, 27 points. That is a depth player. Is Joe Thornton bad now? Because he's a depth guy for the Sharks.
You know what makes Joe Thornton not bad? A team wanting him on their team.
That absolutely does not make him good. He is still good. That is a horrible reason. An NHL team believing in you means nothing regarding how good or bad you
I
are.
think it means-
the NHL is by far the dumbest league with the dumbest management. Like, there's no question. How dare you even try? So the NHL wanting you or not wanting you, to me, says nothing about how good or bad you actually are. It says very little. There's something there, obviously.
That's ridiculous.
There's less than any other league. There's less than any other league.
Can I
they
there's
thought
less what?
David Clarkson 5.75 for 7 years. We're going to do that.
All
That's smart.
leagues have bad contracts.
Oh my God!
What are you talking
league
about?
Has more than the National Hockey League. Are
Steve.
you going to sit here on this show and tell me that the NHL is smarter than the MLB,
Steve.
then the NBA, then MLS? Even it's not.
Though, first of all those leagues have contract structures that are very different. You can't compare. First of all,
I can't believe we
compare
were talking about how much Iginla means to us, and this is where we're at.
You
hold on.
can't compare the National Football League contracts because they're not guaranteed. You can't compare MLB contracts because you get them for longer.
Twitter first thing in the morning is bad for you. You're both bad for me.
Can I just say this?
No.
I woke up and it was like, how can I turn this Jarome Iginla thing into a negative for Steve? And then I texted Jesse, I'm like, go with me on this.
And Jesse,
So we are literally just fucking with you.
Yeah, but now you've given me a good point.
But
Like,
I think it is
I
a
agree.
fair point, but I think that's an athlete.
it's absolutely not. What player retires at the height of their game?
Many. Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Who's that? Never heard of him.
No, but tell me
he
about the
sucks.
other leagues.
He sucks.
Tell me about the other leagues, Mr. I Know
No,
Sports.
so Jim Brown was the best when he retired.
He's
that was the best.
He's
he ever
probably
was.
the best football player ever.
No, but no. He was the best he ever was.
Yes.
when
I
he
think
retired.
at 28 as the best running back to ever play.
Why did he retire at 28?
Because he didn't want to play football anymore.
Okay, so that is an extraordinarily rare example.
Oh my God! You asked for an example and I gave you one and then you dismissed the example.
There's like 5
What
examples.
What are you talking about?
Bobby Orr.
Had retirement handed to
Did
him.
I ask you for an example?
Bobby Orr had retirement handed to him. Bobby Orr's knees
Why
gave
is
out.
that a bad thing?
You know what's great?
I was merely making the point
Why
that
are
some
you both
retire.
garbage? Why are you both the worst? Oh my God. We have the Tom Wilson contract to get through.
This was the best.
And you're doing this? I'm wasting my energy on this?
Sorry, this was so worth it. I just wanted to get you pissed.
No, it wasn't. You're both trash.
By the way, no disrespect to Jarome Iginla. We really just did this to fuck with Steve.
I don't know, Adam.
But
I'm
here,
staring at two people I don't even know anymore.
Tom Wilson's contract. $5.16 million
Oh,
per
great.
year.
An opportunity to calm down. You guys are all dicks. I can't believe either
Do you
of
want
you.
to talk about Trevor Linden first?
No, let's do Tom.
Okay, Tom Wilson's contract.
While I'm in this mood.
Tom Wilson is going to make $5.16 million to 2023-2024. His signing bonuses. These are the
Are
contracts, by the way, that the NHL wants to get rid of in 2020 when they inevitably go into a lockout.
Yeah.
Because
So saith a few people. I don't know
saith
if
a
it's
few.
actually out there, but
Tom Wilson this year of his contract will make $5 million in bonuses. So the day he signed the contract, he got a $5 million check, and then he's going to make a league minimum.
so he gets like 170 grand actual salary.
Then the next Then the next season he'll get $3 million July 1st. The next season after that $2 million. The next season after that $3 million, and then $2 million, and then $1 million.
Which like
It's
his contract is not unusual.
No, but
what
it's-
is unusual is that it was given to him.
It's buyout proof at the beginning. Now Tom Wilson's 24 years old. He was a first round 16th overall pick a few years ago. I forgot that.
He was a high pick. Well, he was ranked. I remember at the time because there were rumors that the Leafs were going for him. Because what year
That
was
would have
it?
made sense. 2012.
2012 and
Was that the Gauthier
2012 was a
draft?
weird draft too. There were rumors that the Leafs really wanted him. They were really hoping to get him because he was advertised as the toughest player in junior hockey. And then I think the Leafs got like Jamie Devan in the 3rd round or something like that. And they're like, well, there's number 2. And I think they fought each other or whatever.
10-team no-trade list until 2022.
Shit.
7-team no-trade list afterwards.
What?
Yeah. So he's got the 10-team no-trade till 2022 apparently, and then a 7-team no-trade after.
What a bizarre. Like, that's one of those minor things. Like, no.
Basically-
and then the final 2 years, whatever. No, it's got to go down to 7.
Still can't trade me to Arizona, basically.
Like, that is too much time in your hands. That's a summer contract.
Like,
That wasn't negotiated this season.
And by the way, that wasn't to hate on Arizona. It's just Arizona takes on people's bad cap hits and gets assets. That's the whole
Where's
point.
the lie? Half their payroll.
I just know I'd hear from 3 of them.
Yeah.
So where's the lie?
Why? I don't understand why we have to apologize on this show for calling Arizona a terrible franchise.
Wow.
The fans aren't terrible.
No,
But they gave us Matthews.
They take it personally, I think.
the
is why.
team has never been successful.
Okay,
They almost made the Stanley Cup Finals that one time.
imagine if for over 2 decades you had to like legitimize your own existence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Imagine.
No, thank you. That's the most Jesse thing that's ever happened. I made a point. And you were like, exactly my point.
That is actually, he's not wrong.
The league had to buy their own team
They've had
because
to-
it was failing
they've
so
had to
hard.
I'm talking
It
about
was failing
fans.
so hard.
I'm talking about the
league
fans.
that owns it had to buy it.
You know what
Jesse,
else that
you're
happens?
not wrong.
The CFL.
Wow. You know what? No, what I was talking about was fans have to legitimize the fact that they exist.
Oh yeah, no, I feel bad for the fans.
Oh.
If you're an Arizona Coyotes fan, I feel bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
this guy. Unbelievable.
I'm just saying.
Unbelievable. So Tom Wilson. How do
I
we
got
find
sidetracked.
ways to yell about things completely unrelated to? All right, let's talk about Tom Wilson. And we're like 45 seconds in. The Coyotes are bullshit. Yes, Adam.
Go back. Yes.
I want to read a tweet.
If you have kids in the car, I'm very sorry.
If your instant reaction to the Tom Wilson thing was good or bad, this is an important tweet. Because I think this was everybody's sort of instant reaction, and then more details came out. So the first reaction is, listen, if the Leafs win the Cup, every player on the team with an expiring deal could re-sign for $69 million, and I'd be cool with it.
Yes.
And then more details came out.
That's
What was the reaction?
If the Leafs... If the Leafs win the Cup, every player on an expiring deal could re-sign for $69 million, and I'd be cool with it. Every player.
Nice.
69.
Pretty nice.
Nice.
The sex number.
And then more details started to come out, and more comparables started to come out. And Steve said, I mean, the Caps won the Cup and stuff, but that contract is bad.
It's really bad.
Really bad.
It's really bad.
And I want to shout out Kevin Capetti on Twitter, who's been on fire. K. Capetti.
This, I don't know how you can possibly defend the contract after you hear this.
Tom Wilson.
Just wait.
Have you seen this tweet?
No.
Just wait, said Jesse.
Tom Wilson has as many career goals as Connor Brown.
Career.
Career goals. Connor Brown has played 220 less games. How many goals, career goals, Jesse? Don't look this up. Did you look this
I
up?
have Tom Wilson's numbers up.
Oh, okay.
Does that ruin it?
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
sorry.
how many career goals does Connor Brown / Tom Wilson have?
I know the answer.
I know because it's sitting in front of me.
35 career goals.
That Tom Wilson has 35.
Connor Brown, who we dump on. I don't personally dump on.
I
think he's-
don't, but some people,
A lot of
for
people.
some bizarre reason,
That's the guy they've chosen.
can't like everything about the team. So, yeah, that guy
That's
who
the guy.
plays on the fourth line, which is
And he's actually
the
would
most
be.
offensive line they have. Sorry.
I
How many
am
goals does he
blown
have?
away by
Yeah,
this
it's
deal.
35 goals.
35 goals. Yeah. 30.
Oh, they're tied.
They're tied
tied.
for career
Oh, they're
goals.
tied. I thought you
Connor
had
Brown.
more.
No.
Okay.
Tom Wilson and Connor Brown have the exact same amount of career goals.
They have the exact same.
Brown has
wasn't
played
paying
220 fewer games.
And let's not forget, Tom Wilson plays with.
Kuznetsov and or Backstrom and Ovechkin.
When was playing hockey all about goals?
Yeah, there it is.
There are
Jesse's got it.
different skill sets
Yeah.
that different players have.
And he's only
Not-
24.
Not every player is a goal scorer, would be my argument.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's
Sure.
the straw that stirs the drink.
Is what I
For
keep
sure.
hearing. That makes me very uncomfortable, that saying, by the way.
I love it.
Let me just throw this out there. Tom Wilson has a nice number of assists in his career. 69. Total career
Thought it was
assists.
420.
Zach Hyman, who a lot of people compared him to. Well, why is Zach Hyman any different?
A guy who plays on the first line and people argue should not and
Yeah.
gets no power play time.
Right.
Someone said that and I'm like, Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman.
That's who you just described.
Yes. Zach Hyman, who makes $2.7 million, has 45 career assists in 180 games. Tom Wilson has 69 in 391 career games. I'm sorry, you guys.
Does Tom Wilson kill penalties? Like, I don't know. Hyman does.
Okay.
Yes, Jesse.
What did you say earlier about
Jarome Iginla is good, and you fought me on it.
The point being to win the game. Correct.
Yep.
The Washington Capitals won the game with Tom Wilson on their top line.
Sure did.
So doesn't that mean that you can win with Tom Wilson as your top line center?
You can.
Not center. Sorry.
Winger.
On your top line winger.
Right wing.
So if they're paying him to do that, that's okay because they've proven it literally works to the highest degree of winning a Stanley Cup.
Here's the thing.
Not at that.
I would say that's correct to a point, but where that stops being correct is who drove that success. That player did not drive that success. He was adjunct to that success. He was around for it.
Was he a part of it?
He was a
played
part of
his
it.
role.
But did he drive the success?
And he had a great playoff.
And
that should be mentioned. He was great in the playoffs.
There is a point at which the dollar amount corresponds to the driving of the play. Meaning that once you get above a certain amount of dollars, you should be driving the play, not being just a part of it.
Isn't even that he's a bad hockey player.
He's not.
It's that where did his camp come up with the almost $5.2 million per season
Which,
number?
by the way, they didn't start at.
5.16.
They would have.
Right, they started at, that's a great point, Adam. They probably started at
7?
at least 6. At least 6.
I would have given him 6.
Shut up.
You would not.
Where does his camp come up with that number with like 100 career points or whatever? And where do the Capitals go? Yes.
This is where they say, we're not paying you based on past, we're paying you based on future. They think he's about to explode.
He better be. For that amount of money, he should be flirting with per season the amount of goals he has in his career. Well, what is he? He's a grinder? Like an enforcer? Like that guy's the he's the boogeyman? What?
No, but
well,
how do you discredit the fact that they won?
Well, here's what I would say, and this is going to be very unpopular, and Caps fans are going to hate me, but here I'm going to throw this out there. If Vegas doesn't have the magic dust this year and Nashville or Winnipeg gets through, Washington does not win the Stanley Cup. End of story.
Yeah.
So long, good night. Period. End of story. End of story. That was the weakest Western Conference team in years. I'm sorry, but it's true.
You mean Vegas
and we
coming
all
through?
know it. We all know it. And if you disagree with me, if you at me, I don't care because I'm not on Twitter anyway. I'm not watching. Who cares?
Wow.
You're on Twitter. You're just not using it.
No, I'll read some tweets, but I'm not reading my replies. Who cares? Come at me, Caps fans. I'll see you in September.
Listen, no NHL team is perfect.
No.
Every year, the Stanley Cup champions have flaws. The Pittsburgh Penguins' flaw the year prior was that there were very few of them remaining.
Yes. And they still managed it.
Yes. And even like both of those Pittsburgh teams had pretty defense. Actually, both those years, the Penguins beat the Caps. You could argue both times. Definitely the second time. Caps should have won. Caps had the better team. No, it's a whole lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. There's no justification. There is not one for paying Tom Wilson $5 million plus per season. Well, Jesse, if you just keep bringing that team back, like that's how Chicago got to where they are.
Here's what people
is that
said.
they just went, let's let it ride,
What do you
and they
mean?
stopped evolving.
What do you mean? How many cups does Chicago have?
The way they ran their team changed. They did the right thing after 2010. They won the cup. They were in trouble. They had to make some changes, and they fell back a little bit. 2013, they're back to destroying worlds. They win like 25 straight games, something like that. They win the cup. Got to tinker again. Then they win the cup again. And then they had one bad series against Nashville, and they got to get the band back together. Like it was,
and then they trade Artemi Panarin, for Brandon Saad and
back.
Forsberg, and like a backup goalie.
Oh yeah,
who's not even their backup goalie anymore. They're still looking for a backup
I
goalie.
don't know who their backup goalie is anymore. But
so this is the problem.
The Penguins fans, brought it up that what the Caps are kind of doing this offseason Well, it wasn't even a bad offseason until then. But handing out money, just, hey, we won the cup, I'm happy about it, that's how you get the Penguins from 2009 after the cup till 2015.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty ho-hum for a while. That's because they weren't spending their money wisely.
And people are saying, well, hey, listen, the John Carlson contract, that's only a $4 million raise. So that's $4 million more dollars. Fair.
Okay.
Brooks Orpik. Well, you had to give up something to get rid of Brooks Orpik, and then you re-signed him.
Yeah. You basically, to bring the same team back,
you're paying $9 million more for the same team.
paying $9 million more, and you lost Philip Grubauer. Like, you paid that for cap relief. What? No, you paid it so that you could sign this player to way too much money. I just don't understand. I don't understand where he asked for that amount of money, and I don't understand why they agreed to it. I don't understand. How does Tom Wilson, other than, okay, how does Tom Wilson, A, argue he's a better player than Zach Hyman?
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying that as my Leaf example, but it's actually a pretty good example, I think. And then how does he argue that he's twice? He's almost 2 times what Zach Hyman is. Because of the cup?
What was the first thing you read, the tweet about the Leafs?
Listen, if the Leafs won the cup, every player on an expiring deal could re-sign for $69 million, and I'd be cool with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jesse,
I'm sure the fans are cool with it.
Yo, they're
As
all
a
cool with
fan
it,
of the
and they're all
team.
wrong.
As a fan of the team, are you not happy?
Yes.
Our show,
Yeah.
we're 3 of us are Leafs fans.
Yeah.
Leafs win the Stanley Cup. The next year, the Leafs last year win the Stanley Cup. They re-sign Komarov for $10 million.
Yep.
You're cool with it. You don't even realize it happens because you're still drunk from the parade.
Yep.
What's there to complain about?
There won't be another parade next year. Because my team wasn't smart.
And that's the thing. Winning can be just as paralyzing as losing. You see these teams who lose in the second round and they blow it apart. The Caps lost Barry Trotz, the coach that got them there.
You play to win
They wouldn't
the game.
pay Barry Trotz. They wouldn't pay. By the way, the Islanders had to overpay Barry Trotz to get him. $4 million a year. I'm sure you could have had him at 3.5 in Washington. But they lose Barry Trotz, who they won't pay. But they'll sign Tom Wilson to $5.16 million a year for the next 6 years.
It's a terrible deal.
It's bad, guys.
It's a terrible,
As a fan,
terrible deal.
Is it not okay that they suck for a couple of years? How much?
I mean, they're going to get let off.
You get
But you
good.
didn't have to.
No, but you get goodwill if you win the cup.
Agreed. I 100% agree. And I know 100%. There are people that are going to be fully on this. But I will tell
get
you,
goodwill if you win too.
the Tom Wilson buyout is going to be super fun.
No, but what I'm saying, but the Penguins
That's
won
very
2.
true.
They won 2.
Okay.
Back to back.
Well, you
by
can
not
take
doing
one.
stupid crap like this.
Can I also just throw this out here too? Tom Wilson's an RFA.
No, okay. Basically, winning a cup is not an excuse.
didn't have to do this.
They didn't have to do this. Tom Wilson is 24 as
Winning
an
is
RFA.
not an excuse to be a moron.
And
It's
people
a
go,
moron.
so,
Yes, it is.
So
That's my point.
So moron on the streets and get drunk.
If you're
Not
a fan-
moron with your money.
If you're a fan, you have every right to be aloof about it. The people defending it used poor rationale. I didn't see a single good argument. It's not an excuse to be dumb with your money.
As a fan, I don't care what my team does for the next decade because I have a cup.
Totally fine, totally understandable. But in reality, like, would you not agree that someone from outside of the Caps organization right now at this moment would have a better view of that organization, would have a more realistic view of that organization?
And let me throw this out there. When the Caps...
The answer is yes, by the way.
I think jersey sales matter, and Tom Wilson jerseys are going to
Oh,
sell like
there's so
crazy
many.
for the next.
Oh my
how,
God, yeah.
How long is he signed for?
Everyone's got no
2024.
2024. Those jerseys are going to be nice, and you bring
Especially
back
that
the
third
band.
jersey.
You parade them out for the next however long because Washington got a damn championship.
Except you're not
first
bringing
one.
back the band, and the most important member of the band, who I would argue is Philip Grubauer, who was the
Alexander
whole reason
Ovechkin.
they were there in the first place.
Wow. No.
Holtby was having a rough patch, and he wasn't starting.
Yeah. But Tom
And they
Wilson,
got one
Grubauer
overtime game in the third game of the playoffs.
Put it this
Grubauer
way.
didn't help in the playoffs.
I think
It
of
was whole
fair.
face.
Fair.
and Grubauer did start, but I think he lost both games.
Yeah.
But I just think of Like, okay, Steve, did he not have an amazing playoffs? Yeah. Look at his points.
Agreed.
Total. 15 points in 21 games.
You won
for
the
Tom
cup.
Wilson?
The difference between Tom Wilson and Zach Hyman? Tom Wilson has a cup ring. Fair.
Now,
fair argument.
I just think of all the players who got wicked contracts based off of playoff performance, and like just like they had one very good playoffs, and they so rarely pan out. You know what I think of? The just coming out of the lockout Oilers, who played the Hurricanes. Damn it, should have won the cup, in my opinion. I cheered for Western Canadian teams in back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. You know how weird that was? I wanted the Flames to win, wanted the Oilers to win. Sorry, they were just both likable teams. But then they start like handing out the sun and the moon to like Fernando Pisani. I think of...
They let Mike Pekka go.
Yep.
Who was a huge part of their playoffs.
I'm trying to think of what team he was even with, but like Sean Bergenheim. Remember, he had a crazy playoff.
Islanders. He was with the Islanders before that.
I think he was with the Islanders before that, but I want to say, was he with Tampa? Like, I can't even remember. And these are guys that just, Brian Bickle. There's another one, but he kept showing up playoff after playoff. It was hilarious. It's like Joel Ward. Mm-hmm. But
we've seen teams get burned on playoff performances.
You have one wicked playoff, and it takes like 2 or 3 years for those contracts to even get criticized because
hey, you did it in the playoffs. You did it when it mattered.
You earned it.
I think Joel Ward's the only guy that's ever earned it. Joel Ward is consistently awesome in the playoffs.
Every year you go, what the
Yeah, you're like, wow, Joel Ward. And then every year in the playoffs, I'm like, I understand why they paid Joel Ward that. I get
2016, 2017, Tom Wilson had 19 points. In the playoffs this year, he had 15 in 21 games.
So what's his career high in points?
That's like
career high in
Devontae Smith-Pelly, but not in the same year.
Career high in points is 21 from last season. And then
35.
Nope, that's with the Plymouth Whalers in the OHL.
Really? 2017, 2018, it wasn't that?
20.
Are you looking at the right player?
I'm asking. Tom Wilson.
No, 35.
35.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I was looking at assists. My bad.
It's all good.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, yeah, career high in points is 35, and then the playoffs in 21 games, he had 15.
And you look at his points, you go, okay, 35, even though he's playing on the top line. He's 24.
187 penalty minutes.
So you could definitely argue, like, the argument is not this is what Tom Wilson will be forever, but what are you suggesting? That he's going to be a 50-point guy? Maybe once?
And,
I don't think
if he is
so,
going to be a
though.
50-point guy, do you not wait till he is? Like this
He
is
was
the
an
part.
RFA.
Now, there will be people that come out, reach out
Did
to
he
us.
dig his heels in and was like, I'm not signing?
There were people that will reach. They will reach out and in probably very salty language, much saltier than I will give us right now, say, "Well, they bought UFA years."
You know what? Every Caps fan that came back in me, I just stopped because I felt bad. I'm like, oh, you're not seeing reality right now.
And that's okay.
Nor would I see reality if I were you.
But it's not okay when your GM doesn't see reality.
Every single thing the Leafs do after they win the Cup is going to be brilliant. To me.
When in actual fact, it was everything they did before.
Yeah.
Because that's what got them the
If
Cup.
I want to know
That's the
how
proof.
they're actually doing, I'll ask like an Avalanche fan or like a Coyotes fan. Hey, sorry about all those bad things I said about you, but what do you think about the Leafs this year? So I have an accurate picture. Like, there's no justification for this. There just is no justification for this. You spent how many million? Over $30 million on a person that may or may not even exist. Like, the 50-point Tom Wilson might exist, maybe, but you don't know. You don't know. What if he doesn't? What if he's 35-point, which is career high, by the way? What if he's 35-point guy for the rest of his career? Sorry, this $5 million. You're nuts. You're nuts. By all accounts, off the ice, great
Awesome.
guy.
We're not criticizing Tom Wilson's character. In fact,
Sometimes
good for Tom.
You kind of do that a couple times.
But not now. Not this time. I criticized him for rearranging Zach Aston Reese's career and life and his face.
No,
and
on the ice, he's a dangerous player.
Yes.
And I suppose he's a dangerous player.
And he's a guy you want in your locker room. Get all that, not coming after him personally. In fact, the best tweet I saw was Tom Wilson's agent is a generational talent.
Oh my God, yeah.
Absolutely. That's the
great
agent I'm
tweet.
freaking hiring, man.
Dude, if the Leafs signed Hyman, and I'll keep bringing him up, or Brown, or whatever, any other depth wingers, man.
Who play with superstars?
Who have played up higher in the lineup. Dude, Matthews for a long time played on a line of Hyman and Brown on his wings, both of them. If either of those players signed for $5 million, that's a shitty contract.
Well,
those players would tell you that.
Look at what happened with Nikita Zaitsev. We got a little too high on a guy, signed him to a ridiculous contract, and at least Nikita Zaitsev in his first season had 35 points. Most of those on the power play. Believe me, it's a debatable contract, and you can call us out on that. You're right.
Yeah.
100% you're right. But there was a lot of things that Lou Lamoriello did in terms of contracts that you go, really? Really? Okay.
You sure?
He did some other good stuff. The point here is that there is no justification for this amount of money. Now, if Tom Wilson goes out and scores 80 points next year, if Tom Wilson goes out and scores 50 points next year, you might get fair value. If it's 80, because he's with Backstrom and Ovechkin and that can happen, awesome, fill your boots. I just don't think he's the guy that's driving his own point production.
3.5 per year.
Great.
I would argue not great, but I don't even really bat an eye. We probably barely even talk about it on the show. Certainly not for however long we've been talking about this. And a lot of people would argue that's an overpayment, but I'm like, okay, $3.5 million for a guy, he's going to play on your top line. And yeah, I guess they did win. Dude, over 5? 5.17. Like, where'd you get that number? I just don't understand it. And Caps fans don't even bother. And look, it's not an attack against you. It's not an attack against you, but every argument I've seen for this contract is poor.
Yeah.
And will be poor. It's not good. If he does turn out, the Caps deserve credit. And if you gloat about it, that's wonderful, and it'll feel wonderful. You didn't know. Like, if he scores 50, 55 points next year, you didn't know. Stop. You didn't know. You hoped. Mm-hmm. You know, like any fan of any team and player, you hoped. But I've argued that before, but I didn't know. If he scores 60 points, you didn't know.
No, you couldn't say, well, we predicted this. Although NHL teams will they'll say, yeah, see, we told you.
There's late bloomers,
Steve Dangle.
for sure, but I heard
who's the GM there again?
Was like talking about their development, and I'm like, that's irrelevant. I don't care how he was used by his coach. And he came into the league at 18. He's 24. That was 6 years ago. The reality is, he is optimistically a 35-point player.
Because at 24, you've just about figured it out. 24, 25, they say statistically, this is
There's
sort
late
of...
bloomers.
There are late bloomers, but...
People who are fans of the Capitals love Tom Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Good.
There's some monetary... They'll make money off of his jerseys. I don't doubt that. He'll get people out of their seats into games. I get that. But not more than Alexander Ovechkin. Not more than Nick Backstrom, not more than Evgeny Kuznetsov. And then when you talk about the actual play on the ice, which is what this all comes back to, I don't care how many points Tom Wilson gets next year. The fact of the matter is he the driver? Is Tom Wilson the star of, let's say they put him on the third line. Is he a 35-point guy?
Hyman's not the driver on his line, but I like the role he plays.
Sure.
And I like the price. Like, people would be like, what, you don't think that a winning team should have Tom Wilson on it, or a team should have players like Tom Wilson?
Very clearly they should.
Dude, the dollar amount.
Again, this is not a criticism of Tom Wilson or what he brings. It's a criticism of Caps management losing their fucking minds. That's all it is.
Do you want me to cap this conversation?
Thank you, because we're basically just repeating it over and over again.
On August 5th, in the North Toronto area, Tom Wilson will be bringing the Stanley Cup to Toronto.
That's the Black Dog, right?
No, I think that's the day
not.
before, and then Devontae Smith-Pelly's bringing it to the Black Dog.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And I'm going to.
Oh, that's cool.
Will you be there on August 5th at Tom Wilson's celebration?
Probably not.
I don't think there's details yet on where it'll be.
No, Scarborough only, sorry.
No, I won't be there for either.
All right. No. I just thought it'd be an opportunity to tell him that he's making too much money if you guys were there.
What kind of psychopath would do that?
I actually know
why would you walk up to even a non-threatening player
and
be like, You don't deserve that amount of money.
I just think you're just so passionate about Tom Wilson making too much money that you would want to tell him in person.
I actually know of a person, and I won't say who did that.
Really?
What?
Yeah. It wasn't quite the same.
Are you talking about Jeff and Bozak?
Did he tweet about that? Did he talk about that?
Did he tweet about it? Pictures and everything.
Okay.
Jeff,
Wait, Jeff
Back in the day, Jeff
told Tyler Bozak that he's
no,
to his face.
Did he get punched in the face?
No, he didn't say that. What he said was apparently
No,
and this
offense,
is
Jeff.
And Jeff said this with a smile on his face. So I'm retelling
Complete
his story.
offense.
He said, I went up to Bozak and said, "Why do you have me blocked?" And Bozak said, "Well, you haven't said
At
very
an
nice
autograph
things."
signing.
Yeah, and
You
he said-
lunatic.
and you said you haven't said very nice things about
kids
me,
there.
which he hadn't. Anyway, you're asking
I
what
would
kind of
never
lunatic
ask
would do
Bozak
that.
Why he blocked me? I know why. Why would you ask him? He was younger. That was years ago. I'm sure he's learned some lessons since then. Man, I forgot about that story.
So you're asking, although Bozak is not as scary as Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson scares me. I would run.
He's no KSI or Logan Paul.
Ah, true.
Those guys are fighters.
Let's get on to. I want to. This is just the beginning of a story, and this is not a story that I think we will fully be able to flesh out even several months from now. But we're going to keep coming back to it.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown and Jacob Sartorius. I have no idea who he is. And there are statements about their breakup because they're 14 and 15 years old, and that makes sense.
that is the
I want to talk
craziest
about
thing.
that
so
hard.
stupid. We'll get to it in a second. But let me get to. I'm serious. Like in a second. There's like one more hockey story.
Okay. I like how you're. No, gotcha.
And then
One more hockey thing, and then we'll get to.
Yeah,
Millie
let me get
Bobby
this
Brown.
bullshit thing out of the way. This bullshit hockey thing.
Yeah, like the altering of the
Yeah.
course of the Canucks franchise.
Just Trevor Linden leaving. Just Trevor Linden leaving.
Speaking of Stranger Things, the Vancouver. Sorry.
Now, it seems like Trevor Linden thought next year, and he said at the draft to
The
several
Canucks are in
reporters.
the upside down. Sorry.
He said to several reporters this year that, yeah, they had a great group of guys, but that there was pain coming, to quote Mike Babcock. There's going to be pain.
Did he actually say that?
Well, no, he said something along the lines of it's going to be tough. It's going to be bad before it gets good. Even with Besser and Patterson and Quinn Hughes, who just agreed not to go play for the Canucks next year.
Good.
Fine, whatever.
For the best.
Who cares? Now,
For his development, right? So that he becomes the best player he can be for the Canucks.
I want to read you a couple Francisco Aquilini, a.k.a. owner of the Vancouver Canucks, tweets from April 9th. This is tweet 12 of 15, by the way. He doesn't know how to connect his tweets, so he numbers them.
That was so annoying. Yes.
He
That's
doesn't-
why I haven't read this
he doesn't
whole
know how to
thread,
make a thread.
Because I was like, oh,
Can somebody can somebody call Francisco up and tell him how to make a thread on Twitter? Because I don't expect him to know that, but doesn't he have a social media person for that?
It was the hockey equivalent of take a look, y'all.
Anyway.
It was basically that.
He said, look at Colorado and New Jersey this year, making the playoffs. Look at Arizona in the second half of the season. They were playoff. They were if they'd played like that the whole year, he's right. They would have made the playoffs.
Fart, said Jesse Blake.
And then he said this, look at our last 10 games.
No.
We'll be a younger team, but a well-coached, well-managed young team can mature and come together quickly. Again, I'm going to read that back to you. Look at Colorado, New Jersey making the playoffs. Look at Arizona in the second half of the season. Look at our last 10 games. Now, Aquilini sounds like a great fan. That is the kind of fan that if I am the owner of a franchise, I want. But if I'm the owner of the franchise, that's not the kind of fan I want to be.
If your owner is talking and you didn't just win the Stanley Cup, you effed up. Or like you got like a new arena or something like that. Oh my God. And in July, I'm with Jesse. Go to the beach.
No, that was in April, but he did tweet in July after
sorry, that's what I
after
thought you
Linden
were-
left. No, what I was listening, what I had there, well, that was right after the season ended in April. That was April 9th.
Oh, okay. Well, that's relevant.
He has other tweets that are from, thanking Trevor and whatever, but there's nothing there. There's nothing meaty. To get a real sense of where this guy's at, the April 9 tweets are the ones you want to look at.
Okay.
And what's
Also my
interesting...
birthday.
Ah, right, that is your birthday.
That was completely irrelevant.
Jesse Blurk.
Just
Jesse
thought I'd talk
Blurk's
about myself
birthday.
for a
So that
second.
people know to send you packages and tweets.
His tweets from the other day did have a little bit of
All right.
juicy information in them. Yeah, so the tweets the other day, one of them from Mr. Aquilini was that Jim and Travis Green will continue rebuilding the team as per the plan we have in place. A new president will be named in due course. And then Jim Benning released a statement that says, he called me and he said that despite all the talk out there, he's not looking to hire somebody as a president of hockey operations.
Oh my God, Jim.
So here's the best part. This is what I wanted to get into.
I just want to add the point. So we put that together on Tim and Sid and we sent it out. And then we didn't tag him. And then immediately after we sent that out, he followed us.
Jim Benning?
Mr. Aquilini.
Oh!
So we're like, you saw what we did there.
Searching his name, are we? Yeah. We were on the air.
We didn't even mention his name in the tweet.
So he does know how to use Twitter.
So you're like snooping around Twitter, Mr. Aquilini.
That or he saw you say it on air.
Oh, he's definitely Googling his name.
Yeah, I think he's Googling his name a little.
So here's what,
Aqua, looky what I just
so
found.
apparently Jim Benning would go with Trevor Linden to these summits with the Aquilinis. And Jim would go along to talk about the hockey ops. And apparently the Aquilinis really like him. Great. The thing was, Trevor Linden was sort of the go-between. He was the goalie when they were firing shots. Now, Jim Benning is going to have to take, and I'm not kidding here, the insinuation is that the calls are daily with ownership.
Oh,
every day. When we've talked to people in NHL teams who actually work for NHL teams, the most they've heard of is like every week. Maybe once a month.
That's so annoying.
You got to let the hockey people be the hockey people, right? Every day. And imagine it's trade deadline day. Imagine it's training camp and it's like, oh no, I got to go talk to Mr. Aquilini because he wants an update on... There's no update. There's nothing. Imagine trying to do a podcast every day. That's what a conversation is.
Can you imagine Lou Lamoriello taking a daily phone call?
Oh, he wouldn't. He just wouldn't pick it up.
He'd spit at the phone.
So... Here's what Jim Benning said. He said, Francisco is passionate about the team. He wants the team to do well. Travis and I were down there yesterday and we explained our plan and he's on board. If young players deserve to be on the team, we're going to find room for them. If he understands, that's how you build championship teams. He doesn't interfere with what we do. He listens to us, he asks questions, and then he lets us do what we need to do. Travis Green added, we're all on the same page. So it will be very funny to watch the expectations of the Canucks and the reality of the Canucks. Sorry, the expectations of Canucks ownership and management versus the reality of the Canucks this year.
It's a
can't
mess,
wait.
right?
What's that?
It's a mess.
Oh, it's sure starting out that way.
No, but
we're just at the beginning of this year's story, and I'm real excited.
So we had Dmitry Filipovich on a few months ago. Dimfip. And we talked about...
Patent bending.
What a
I want that.
terrible nickname.
Nope.
Poor guy.
Dimfip.
Dimfip.
Go.
Well, name of this episode.
Even though he's not on, no.
Doesn't matter. I like it. We should do it. Anyway, so Dimfip was saying that over the past 3 seasons, the Canucks have been the worst team in the National Hockey League. And there's reason to believe it's going to get worse?
Yeah.
Oh, you poor guys.
Yeah. There is actually good reason to believe. You don't have the still pretty good Sedins on the team.
Can I say no, still pretty good?
Well, 50-point guys.
Cholo was them, Adam. Cholo was them.
They could have kept playing.
Why are they playing then? Retirement chose them.
Matt Sundin he chose retirement. He came back, played well, then chose retirement.
I just want to know you're both genuinely bad
They
people.
did choose retirement.
Choose retirement.
Yep,
Retirement did not choose them.
Yeah.
No.
There would be a contract if they wanted to keep playing. Steve, not having it.
He's so upset. I just literally, I pulled a Stephen A. Smith argument out of my ass. That was not, it's such a cruel way to say it. It's not incorrect.
It's not Stephen A. Smith if it's true.
So you're telling me the Vancouver
No, we're not getting
Canucks,
back into this.
The Vancouver Canucks are going in the same direction as this show.
What I'm saying is the Vancouver
Downward.
Canucks are having losing thrust upon them. They didn't choose losing. It's being chosen for them.
They didn't choose the losing life.
They didn't choose the losing life.
them.
They just happen to be creating it.
I just they think everything they're doing.
They just want to get back into the playoff. They want that playoff revenue, playoff money.
So
Give me 2
Are the
games.
Canucks the biggest believers in PDO ever? And they're it's all coming back.
Well,
we
if
had
you-
3 straight years of garbage.
If
but
you
we're
can
about to be fired.
if you can understand it, Tyler Dello does write an article about that and what it would actually take for the Canucks to make it, and it's a lot. They'd have to go on a better than Vegas bender, basically.
You know the Canucks are going to challenge for a playoff spot next year, right?
Oh, I
This is
can't
how
wait.
hockey works. You know
can't
this is
wait.
going to happen, right?
Can't wait. Who's their goalie? Markstrom. Markstrom's going to be a Vezina
It's going to
candidate.
be unbelievable.
He's the
Tell
new
me it's a
Bobrovsky.
contract year for him.
Steven,
Oh, it's not.
I don't know as much about hockey as you.
Frig off. What are you about to say?
Why are you buttering him up?
When you look at Vancouver's prospect pool, do you see some things that you like?
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you see a lot of things that you like?
Absolutely.
Well, okay, Besser is not a prospect, but he's very young, so he kind of fits into that weird
Pedersen,
stage.
Hughes.
Pedersen
Who'd they draft
is,
this year?
is
It's Hughes, right?
incredible. Matt Sundin mentioned him by name, and he didn't have to at all. Quinn Hughes, Jonathan Dahlen, who they got from Ottawa. could
Burrows.
Could be something. Could be something, we
Even
don't
if he's
know.
a third line guy, who cares?
I'm trying to remember. I think they have a couple other guys. Cole Castle's just signed in Germany. Jesse showed me the team right here. Oh yeah, Michael DiPietro is a really good goalie prospect. Forgot about him.
So is there not something there for the future?
Thatcher Demko. So they're actually
Thatcher
their
Demko's a good
future
one.
in net does look very good, and I mean you can
And they have
you
quite a
can prop
few-
up a pretty mediocre team with good goaltending.
And they have quite a few forwards that look to be good in the future.
Oli Levy is
Ulevy was we talked about, remember when he was being drafted? We were like, Ulevy looks like he's a good guy, and then we're not up on him anymore. No.
I guess.
Did we fall off the Ulevy wagon? Yeah.
All right.
You left.
listen,
You left him
left
behind.
him, yeah.
You
There's-
left-
That was not bad.
there are things to be
Thank you.
optimistic
Thank you.
about.
Warm him back up again.
There are things to be optimistic about.
Listen, we don't have a lot of time here. I don't want to go through the Canucks system. The point is, this is the beginning of the story. We got two more things to get to.
Yeah, I see the point that Jesse's trying to make. The idea that things are going to get worse, I have a hard time believing because there's reason for optimism with their youth. I look at those guys and I go, well,
But the results
They're
will be
going to
worse.
improve.
The results will be worse.
the results will not be optimal.
Well,
because they will continue to make asinine decisions.
If I remember
Is that what
correctly.
you're getting at?
No, I'm getting at they're going to be basement 1 or basement 2 this year.
The last 3 years, when the Trevor Linden stuff happened that day, what was it, last Friday?
Yep.
Erickson contracts.
I was looking at it, the last 3 years, they finished second last in the conference, then second last, then second last, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it can't get worse. If they finish second last again.
Well, what's worse than finishing
buddy.
second last 3 times in a row? A 4th time. I'm telling you, man. What have they done that makes them better?
Or it was like second last, third last, then second last, or something like that. But
I can't wait till they have trouble re-signing one of those prospects to like a long-term deal because of the Jay Beagle contract. That's just going to make me so happy. I can't wait. Hey, you know who the Caps could have given $5 million to? Jay Beagle.
Hey, actually, you know who? They did made a good move at the end of the season. They got rid of I think it was Philip Holm.
Keep going. I'm gonna go get headphones.
Oh, Brendan
we
Leipzig
have
straight
audio.
up. And Leipzig to end the season with the Canucks in 14 games had 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points, which was way better than the rate he was going at with Vegas. And how old is he? 24? He is 24. Give him $5.17 million per season. After all, you're paying for the future. Yes, Jesse? I know he didn't win a cup, but think of the final 10 games.
I was looking for a screenshot I have on my phone, but I can't find it.
Are we talking while
I
one's going?
think
Okay.
we're going to take this time to do something a little different.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to just ask you questions.
Actually?
Yes.
Like an early press conference?
Early press conference. That's
I
a
gotta
great
be on
idea.
BBC Radio in 20 minutes. That's why I keep looking at the clock.
Wait, what?
I'm on BBC Radio 5 talking about Liam Kirk.
What? Hold on. How are we just hearing about this?
I don't know. Well, I told Adam.
BBC.
And you didn't ask. You didn't check and see if I'm going to be on the radio in England.
Who is inviting you on the radio in England?
Forget the name of the
What's-
gentleman.
We gotta get to these
Let me
things
look.
first before he goes on the radio.
Oh
on the
my
BBC.
goodness.
What show? What show are you going on?
This is the BBC Radio 5 at 3 in the morning in England show.
Who's hosting it?
I don't actually know the name of the host.
Can I just say my lifetime goal is to work for the BBC?
But then you have to move away.
I know.
No, I don't, says Adam.
No,
Adam doesn't have to do anything.
I have been the biggest BBC Radio 1 fan since I was very young, but I'm now, I think at 30, too old to work for them. So I'd have to work on BBC Radio 2.
Or are they really young?
They're
Someone
super
named
young.
Jolan Walker asked me to go on
Always
BBC Radio 5.
Yeah.
Then you'd move away.
I don't think I would. They would. I don't even think they could. Could you even hire a Canadian? Because we'd have to prove.
Well, the producer for the show, on his profile, it's listed Derby County and Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
That's amazing. I'd like. You know what? You know what's interesting is how did he become a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? That's what I'd like to know.
I don't know if he's from there, but he's listed as Shropshire, Manchester.
Okay.
These headphones smell amazing.
They smell amazing?
That's something you don't hear often in radio.
They do.
They're Maureen's.
From CHFI, yeah.
Smell that.
Most. Oh, I smelled them. I carried them in.
Oh, God.
They smell like shampoo.
That's delicious.
That's great. It's great.
This is a very strange experience I just had.
Now, first off, Jacob Sartorius and Millie Bobby Brown, 14, 15 years old, they broke up today. I don't know if you ever broke up with your 14 or 15-year-old girlfriend and boyfriend and had to give a statement.
I didn't have one.
Is that what kids do? I'm wondering, like, yeah, exactly. Not a problem for me. But, like, on our MSN Messenger statuses, I can't remember people publicly going, hey, we broke up.
See, that's so funny because I did that.
No way!
I remember.
What did you write?
It's one of my worst moments ever in my entire life.
What did you
I
write?
was
Let's
like
hear it.
11 or something, and I broke up with my girlfriend, Chelsea. And
you bastard.
I changed my MSN. What did you call it?
Status.
Yeah, I changed my status to the date, and then I just wrote ... It ended. So it was like 11/26 01 ... It ended.
Jesse's just in his room listening to The Fray.
Can't look at you.
And I remember that because I hate myself every time I'm in the shower, and I remember that moment.
You always think about it in the shower.
Like you're washing your hair and you're just like, oh.
And I'll be like, oh my God, why did I do
Hey,
that?
I've lived a pretty cool life. No! Yeah. I think I had one where I was like, I was really...
Your brain just goes, hey, I heard you were alone with your thoughts.
I think I had one where I was mad at a girl because I thought that she liked me and we were hooking up, but she didn't like me enough to be my girlfriend.
Like you.
And anyway, I was like, I wrote like something super emo, like stop playing with people's feelings on like my status updates.
Stop playing.
And I've hated myself ever since. I don't remember a single ever one of my status updates, but that one I freaking remember. So freaking, it was terrible. Anyway, so Jacob Sartorius and Millie Bobby Brown have broken up, and they both posted.
I hate that I know this.
The decision was completely mutual, and we are both happy and remain friends, and they both put it on their Insta stories, but they unfollowed each other on Instagram.
Dude, they're children.
I know. Why are we making them do this?
Kids.
Why are people doing this?
I shouldn't know that either of them are even dating.
Well, they were posting it on their Instagram.
Okay, fine.
Jesse had a point. Jesse.
Millie Bobby Brown's Instagram is adorable.
She's the best.
It's just her and her other 13-year-old pals, and they just chill all day.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So, like, I'm very invested in this.
That's still super weird to me, man. I know I sound old right now. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, as someone who's 30, I look back and go, thank God I didn't have Instagram.
Yeah, seriously.
At your age. I'll just straight up say it.
Just be embarrassing. Just be embarrassing.
All my Carl Kanai jeans. Just be like, yo, what up? Just cop
I wonder
this
if Carl Kanai is still producing clothes.
with a metal K on the ass, and you scrape
wanna
up
look
all
that
your
up.
friends' parents' wooden kitchen
Can we look that up,
chairs.
Jesse? Because I got this other thing that I want to.
How do you spell Carl Kanai?
It's Kanai, right?
Yeah, Carl with a K and Kanai. Yeah, Carl Kanai.
I'm going to say yes, they are, but on online stores only.
Fat Farm,
Like
Baby
you-
Fat.
That
Rockaware,
I think they still make that. Echo?
Echo.
Exco, though?
See,
which
I
was the
couldn't afford,
knockoff
I
brand?
couldn't afford Echo. I was all about international clothiers and Exco jeans. Scarborough Town Center.
I was wearing
Stand up.
I was wearing the knockoff Quicksilver stuff. So like if it had like so here's the thing, if it ended up at Winners, which sometimes meant it had like an issue with the jean, like one leg was longer than the other. Those are my Quicksilver jeans.
Yeah.
And I remember I was a super cool guy. I had a Quicksilver wetsuit that I got for my birthday because I was into water sports.
No,
I was like
wait, no, that's what Quicksilver does, though.
Yeah, they actually do that.
Where
yeah.
the apparel's actually the weird thing.
Yeah.
South Pole.
South Pole. Wow, I barely remember that. Averex.
I had an Averex shirt. Scarborough Tings. Yeah, I had an Averex shirt.
You got it from Foot Locker. Had to have got it from Foot Locker.
I think that might have also been an international
Jesse, can you-
closures purchase.
I can't access the Carl Kanai website because it says your connection is not private. Attackers may be trying to steal your information when you try to go to carlkanai.com.
Damn.
But it looks like they're still selling stuff. I guess they have a website that I can't access because there might be a virus on
I just looked at it too. I can't get on it.
There might be a virus on the
good.
carlkanai.com.
All right then.
Why are you talking like Mickey Mouse?
I just think it's a little sketchy.
Oh. The Carl Kanai site won't let me
Oh,
on.
Rick! Rick, let's go on an adventure, Rick!
No, see, we gotta get pants. You gotta get the pants.
All right. So I want to do this last thing. We won't even do a press conference today because we don't have time.
Yeah, sorry.
This last thing is the best. And it's old. And if you've seen it before, you heard it before, forgive me. But we couldn't not play this.
What is this?
Anytime that you think the NHL is too old, too flat, too conservative,
Thank you, Hank Hill.
Propane.
play this clip.
Oh.
This comes from Major League Baseball. This is an Atlanta Braves and Los Angeles Dodgers game.
I just figured it out.
Broadcasters Joe Simpson and what's the other guy's name? I don't know. Doesn't even matter. Let's have a listen.
Jimmy McFish Shaker.
Nope.
I don't think that was his name. Okay, so this isn't playing. Hang on. I'm gonna find it.
It was the most baseball name ever. Chip Carey. Joe Simpson and Chip Carey scold this. Should I spoil it?
No.
Are we going to play the clip? Or?
I'm trying to play it. Stupid internet won't let me play it.
Dag blasted internet won't let me play the clip. You know, when I was your age, we didn't have Instagram.
Which side are you trying to play it from?
But anyway,
Deadspin.
let's make fun of this old guy.
Okay.
Adam, remember last podcast we said we weren't going to make fun of broadcasters anymore because
Here we go.
it's hard?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that lasted 1 week.
this no, I didn't. I never said we weren't going to make fun of them. I just said that.
What did we say last episode? It was so long ago.
A bunch of bullshit.
There we go.
Here we go.
You know that I grew up in the Dodger organization and certainly was taught how to play professional baseball and do things the right way. I want you to look at some things that were going on today in batting practice here with the Dodgers. What do you see? T-shirts. You see Chase Utley with no socks and pants up over his knees. T-shirt. This was prevalent with their whole team. And I think about fans that come to SunTrust Park who are Dodgers fans and want to see their players. They had no idea who any of them were. Nobody had any kind of uniform or batting practice shirt on with their name on their jersey. They looked very unprofessional. And I think I can say this because I know what the Dodger organization was all about.
Should have been swinging a bat with a suit and tie.
It's perfect.
Hold on.
If I were a Dodger fan, I'd be embarrassed. And I don't know how Major League Baseball allows such attire when the gates are open and fans are watching. Chase Utley, I've had nothing but respect for him his whole career. I think he's a great player, and I thought he always played the game the right way. That was an embarrassment what he had on today during batting practice.
This is as the Dodgers are scoring a run against the Braves.
Their practice uniforms.
So they're just talking over that?
Yeah,
baseball.
Yeah, and here I have one more. There's one. This clip is obscenely long. You're so embarrassed. It seems longer than it is, but it's really not that long. Over the course, it's like 2 minutes, and
We've been talking about this for 17 minutes.
And I'm so embarrassed. Keep listening. It's just a little bit longer.
Baseball does with their practice uniforms and the batting practice jerseys. I'm with you. Why not? Well, it's called a uniform for a reason.
Now, here's what's interesting. These are Joe Simpson and Chip Carey, who are the Braves announcers, right? So they're a bit homerish, and we get that. We understand that fine.
Oh, Carey, not Carey.
Or
Sorry.
Carey.
These are the Braves announcers?
Yeah, these are the
doing
Braves
this?
announcers calling out the Dodgers. Now, I think Joe Simpson played for the Dodgers. He said, I grew up within the organization. So what's interesting about this is the shirt that they're talking about that Chase Utley wore. Did you read this?
No.
Yeah.
Chase Utley.
Oh, no.
The shirt they're getting on Chase Utley for, and this is a tweet from Daniel Brim.
Oh, no.
They're getting on Chase Utley for wearing a shirt during batting practice is a strikeout cancer shirt.
Oh, no.
Proceeds from buying these shirts go to researching pediatric cancer.
The pediatric
cancer for kids. Kids cancer.
The man scolded him for wearing a children's cancer shirt.
Oh, no.
I would be embarrassed. Now, Joe Simpson doesn't have Twitter. Chip Correa does. Or did.
Oh, no.
Shut down his account. It's gone.
Now, do you think he learned from this, or he was like, see, this is why you don't have Twitter?
So the Fox Sports Braves.
I'm just trying to make a good point, and everyone gets on my case. Deleted. Sorry.
So Fox Sports Braves, the broadcast team there, their Twitter account tweeted out a statement for Joe Simpson.
Oh, no.
It says, I apologize to Chase Utley, the entire Dodgers organization, and their fans for comments I made during Saturday's broadcast. I've always held the organization in the highest light, and my comments certainly didn't reflect that. I am sorry to everyone affected.
Wait, no, you didn't address why what you said was wrong.
The apology wasn't very good.
You could have sent out a tweet size statement that was, I didn't read the shirt. And I'm really embarrassed.
And I was wrong.
I didn't read the shirt. I'm really embarrassed, and I was wrong. I'm sorry. How many characters is that?
In this day
One
and age.
character.
I just thought the apology was kind of
Two characters. No, I think what's the funniest about this is in this day and age where people are already very sensitive about anybody criticizing anything you wear or look or whatever. There are certain occasions where you're like, listen, if he was wearing a Big Bird costume to batting practice, it might be worth looking at. But if you are,
even if he did that, I'd be like, that's great.
He's being funny.
He's hilarious.
But let's say he regularly wore it. Then it gets a little tired.
Oh, no.
What? It's
how dare he? He's making baseball
practice.
entertaining.
And
wow.
is Chase Utley not retiring as well? Like, it's his last season.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So if you're criticizing somebody in the middle of summer for wearing a T-shirt,
Why is he wearing a Big Bird costume? I can't let that go.
if you're criticizing somebody for not wearing their full uniform to batting practice when it's 35 degrees Celsius outside in the middle of the summer,
How hot he would be in that costume.
I don't understand what you're doing on the broadcasts. Like, I feel like life might have maybe passed you by a little bit, and maybe it's time for you to just be at your TV. Or maybe it's time for somebody to take you aside and go, listen, Joe, things aren't the same as they were in the 70s, 80s, maybe even early 90s. I don't know.
Sometimes in 2018, people like to raise money for cancer children.
that too.
And that's something that I guess he didn't do in the 60s.
Why is he wearing a costume?
I mean, undoubtedly he feels bad. But sometimes you got to wear the dumb things you say, and I say plenty, so hey, I'm sure I'll say something dumb soon again too.
On July
He's wearing a
13th,
Big Bird costume.
Chase
I'm
Utley
sorry.
did announce that he will retire at the end of the season.
Chase Utley's retiring too, so they're crapping on a guy who's probably a Hall of Famer.
Who's on, 100%, who's on his retirement tour.
Yeah.
And is trying to raise money for children with cancer.
Yeah,
Derek
and
Jeter got like a gift every place.
He got a canoe.
Chase Utley, he got like a
we
random
did.
Muskoka chair.
We've
And
done
Chase
this bit.
Utley got a piece of my mind is what he got. Young whippersnapper. Man, say what you will about Don Cherry. When he sounds like an old man on air, at least you're paying attention.
yeah.
Look at these guys, they're not wearing suits and they're wearing their stupid toques over their heads. Look at this guy, he's got a haircut you can set your watch to. Like, at least he's yelling and screaming and he means it.
Yeah.
This was just a scolding.
It's just a good old
Dad talk.
Oh yeah.
He might as well
Oh,
have
yeah.
gone, what's wrong with the world today? That was a grandpa talk.
Yeah.
Oh, not even Dad.
Dad
Yeah.
would at least use his chest, his diaphragm, to talk down to you and how disappointed I am in you, son. But this, come on, man.
You know, when I used to slam the
It was
door,
so
my dad would
baseball.
give me a paddling.
It was so baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Not only was it a bad point, but it was boring. That's bad baseball in a nutshell.
That's really good.
There's good baseball and bad baseball, just like there's good hockey and bad hockey. Bad baseball is old and boring. And that was both. The Big Bird costume. Why? Who would ever wear that? For what reason?
I mean,
Where would he get it? I know he's got a lot of money, but where would he get
Chase
it?
Utley, he
Who made
figured
it?
out. It's Los Angeles. I'm sure there's some big bird costumes hanging around. Just saying.
What
Anyway,
seamstress would make that for him? How much time would it take? What material would it cost? Oh my goodness.
I guess we'll end it there.
Oh, yeah,
we'll be
let's
back
do
next
that.
week. Everybody enjoy their long weekend. Is there a long weekend in the States too?
This weekend is a long weekend in
Canada.
both.
In both.
I believe. Is this not the one?
See, I feel
No,
like-
maybe that's Labor Day.
I feel like in order to have a long weekend in the States, it's got to be something. Like they have to have a name for it. Whereas
It's
we just call it the August long weekend.
No, it's actually Civic Holiday. There's a name for
Is
it.
that actually what it's called?
Yeah.
See, I thought civic holiday was just a thing you get if you were in like a union or something. Did I mention I worked at the zoo? I used to work at the zoo. Back in my day, I worked at the zoo.
This weekend is
and
not.
we wore khakis and forest green shirts. It's called a uniform for a reason.
We wore our name tags too. Where was Chase Utley's name
I
tag?
did wear my name tag.
Chase Utley, Hall of Famer. Nobody recognizes him. Los Angeles Dodger. Nobody's going to know who that is. None of these Dodger fans. They're all brand new. It's not like the Dodgers have been around for 50 years in Los Angeles.
Makes me sick.
How am I going to know
Makes-
who's batting?
Makes me sick.
practice.
This tomfoolery makes me want to vomit.
Anyway, so anytime you want to complain about the NHL being too conservative, a little too slow on the uptake, at least they
know
try
that
sometimes.
You're right, but also baseball.
But also baseball exists. Hey, we'll see you next week. Love you.
Next Tuesday.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.